I'm doing the really exciting thing right now. I can't believe it. It's been quite a while since I got to do it. And I'm talking about a new release in 2024. And this is actually a release that people will be able to see. I have been talking about Sundance for a few days, which no one has been able to really see those films. So that's been weird. I talked about Society of the Snow at the beginning of the year, and good grief. And I haven't really been to the theater since. There also just hasn't been that many options for me to see. So I actually get to talk a film that you guys can see on Hulu right now. Like, that's really exciting for me because I haven't done it. And I know it's always a weird thing to make a movie, or sorry, make a movie review and then just be like, well, I'm posting it because I saw it. And then maybe some people who also saw it will be able to check out the review. And then maybe once people see it, they'll actually find this review after it's been sitting on my channel for 6 months. But this is a case where you guys are clicking in because you've seen it. So let's talk about Suncoast, which is directed by Laura Chin. It stars Nico Parker, Lori Linney, and Woody Harrelson. And this film is a let me explain the premise of it: a semi-autobiographical coming of age story about a young woman dealing with her brother's serious illness. That is the premise of Son Coast. Nico Parker plays the young woman in this film. Laura Linney plays the mom, and Woody Harrelson is in this movie for a part that we'll talk about in a second. It is a coming of age film. I saw this at Sundance. It was releasing to Hulu on February 9th by Searchlight Pictures. And I've written about Suncoast already, and here's the point I really want to emphasize with this movie. It has a really good central performance in Nico Parker in this movie. She is sensational in Suncoast. I thought she brought so much believability to the role of Doris, and it felt like a true coming of age story. Kind of the same way. There's always every few years you kind of get it, whether it was Haley Steinfeld in The Edge of 17, whether it's like Lindsay Lohan back in Mean Girls. Like there's always these iterations. Emma Stone, I think, was a really good one for Easy A. And then like there's even younger ones like Abby Ryder Fortson last year for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Like they come in at a certain time in filmmaking, I guess, film history. And it's just like, oh, okay, we've seen the beats of this film, and yet the performance rises above all of that. And that's how I felt about Suncoast, because Suncoast is a fairly formulaic movie. You kind of know where all the beats of this movie are going to go. And yet I still enjoyed it because I'm watching Nico Parker give a great performance as Doris, which it's a performance filled with so much heart and emotion because of the situation that she is going through at this time, the relationship that she has with her mother, played by Laura Linney, who's just this kind of combative woman struggling with her own kind of demons at this point because she's also at this point where she's losing her son. So it's this weird family bonding story between the two of them. And then Woody Harrelson is in this movie as a character named Paul, who is someone who can empathize with what Nico Parker's character of Doris is going through because he also lost someone close to him. And he's a part of this protester because there's this whole story going on. Uh, and I don't really want to spoil this element of the movie, but the story that Laura is telling in this movie is based on a real life incident that happened. And maybe some of you will remember it, but there was this person who basically said, if you can't revive me, pull the plug. And it became this whole big thing of just like, well, we can't do that. Like, it became this pro-life movement, I guess, where it's just like, no, well, all life is precious, and it brings out this conservative backlash, and then this decision that this person made uh, is met with backlash, and this whole back and forth, and that's kind of the setting of where this movie is, because next door, Nico Parker's character is dealing with this. So every day she goes to visit her brother, there's just protesters out there, and it's kind of the backdrop of this movie. And this didn't work for me at all. Specifically, the Woody Harrelson relationship in this movie, because he is one of these protesters, and I didn't fully understand the empathetic nature of this character or what they were trying to say about it or these protesters. It felt I don't know, there was just something disconnecting with me while watching these scenes with the protesters, and then juxtaposed with Doris played by Nico Parker as she has to go through them. It maybe it was trying to show a little bit empathy towards these people who are protesting, but it also just the invasiveness of having to deal with that and all that. I just didn't think they really explained who Woody Harrelson's character was in the context of these protests going on. And thus I was just like, the whole time I'm just like, is he sympathetic? Should I like root for him, I guess, to some degree? Is he trying to say something about this cause? Is this some sort of messaging that I'm not fully clear on? Is it just kind of ambiguous? Is it to kind of just demonstrate that people are complicated and not all of their thoughts and actions make sense? Maybe it's a combination of all those things that I just mentioned. Watching and I was just like, it's not really working for me. And to bring this character going through what she's going through in Nico Parker's Doris character, and to really bring the, I guess, movement backlash of it to life through Woody Harrelson's felt a little bit more sympathetic than, and this is maybe my own personal bias, than these protesters in this film deserve it, but specifically also the way these protesters are portrayed in this film. They're at times very rough, and you can see how uncomfortable they're making everyone, especially Doris, as she has to go into the hospital each day. And it feels like they are harassing her to some degree, or they're just harassing everyone involved in this scenario. So then to have Harrelson be the kind of almost representative for them in this movie didn't fully work for me. And I'm still kind of struggling with my thoughts. Maybe on another rewatch, it would all kind of get worked out for me. But that was my biggest complaint of the movie, where I thought Harrelson was really good in the role, and I think he has really wonderful chemistry with Parker, kind of playing a very similar role than what he does in Edge of 17. It just didn't fully connect for me. But this movie is worth checking out for the Nico Parker performance of it all, which I think is emotional, I think is heartfelt, and I think it delivers in big ways. And look out for Nico Parker. On a scale of 5 stars, I can comfortably say that I enjoyed this movie, even if I had some reservations on it. 3 out of 5 stars for SUNCOAST. And that's my review for today. So thank you all for watching this video. If you like this review, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos coming your way. Thank you so much. Take care.